Catholic, right? Roman Catholic, right? Catholic Christian, right? And so, which is why they celebrate Christmas, but they do have these influences like what we would see here of indigenous, as part of their cultural history, right? Okay. So before we go any further, I want us to look around Oaxaca. And I think this video was made like during COVID. So you're going to see people with masks on. So don't think that that's normal, right? That was just, I think, was done during COVID. And I just want to get your thoughts about what you see. What do you think about it? What strikes you? What you like? What you don't like? That kind of stuff. Okay. So, and we're not going to watch this whole video because the whole video is something like 12 minutes long, right? But we're not going to do that. So we're going to take a look at it because we're going to see it again during our Noche de Rábanos. Okay. And so again, it's just about providing some context. Okay. All right. Y'all ready? Give me thumbs up if you're ready. All right. Muy bien. All right. Let me share. Let me put some sound on this thing. And if you have a question or an observation as you're watching, just pop it in the chat, you guys, and we can have that conversation. Okay, here we go. Okay, so one of the things that I kind of notice, you guys take a look, is when we think of Mexico, don't we generally think of like desert? When that vision in your head comes in, don't you think of like desert? Yeah. Or dry or something kind of, well, look here, right? We've got beautiful trees, etc. These folks, I don't know if you can make it out. What are these folks doing over here on the right-hand corner? Can y'all make it out on your screen? This is like an outdoor cafe area, right? So people are outside having coffee or having lunch or whatever it is, right? You got some chairs over here because they're getting ready to have like a dance festival or performance of some kind. So, take a look at the architecture, folks. We're going to walk with this guy down the street here, and then we're going to turn.
Capital de Chiapas.
Okay, any observations so far? I'm going to fast forward. So any observations so far, you guys? Pop them in the chat or questions. So we talked what they call the Zocalo, which was the main like city square in Mexico City. And essentially every large town in Mexico is going to have a Zocalo, is going to have like a large, and that's where this is, right? So this is the Zocalo of Oaxaca, right? And so you can see all the people meeting there. You can see all the shops and the restaurants and stuff like that. And so we're going to go to this particular, to the center of the Zocalo. Okay. So keep an eye out. Notice in the background there, you can see that sort of Evo area up on top. The little girl was just being a little girl. No, she was fine. That's a good shot of the architecture, you guys. All right. So any questions, any observations? What jumps out at you? It's kind of nice to see how other people live. It's clean. Okay. I mean, is it what we like when we envision Mexico? Is it what we envision of Mexico? I don't know, what you personally envision of Mexico. Is it different than what you thought it would be? Okay. And what do you think about, like, what are all these people doing there? What are they doing there? I mean, there's tons of people there, right? What are they doing there? Yeah, they're shopping, right? They're socializing, they're hanging out, you had people just sitting there, maybe on their phone or something, right? Do we have places like that in the United States where we can just go sort of hang out in public in large areas? Some folks were waiting for like a dance competition a dance festival to start, stuff like that. Do we have places like that where we can just go hang out? Kind of like what? Yeah, that's kind of like an everyday thing, right? I mean, that's just how, right, Brooklyn. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a community place. Obviously, you have people go there and people set up their little areas, their booths, I guess we'd call them, for like to sell their stuff. Isn't that right? People go there for lunch break. On their lunch break, they go look around, they do some shopping. It's probably set up mostly for tourists, but there's things to do. Like I said, there was a dance thing going on, maybe some music, sitting there, grab a sandwich, go sit out, kind of like sitting out in the park. So it's a very sort of communal, way of life. And it's not something that we generally have. I think the closest thing would be like going to the park for us, right? Like we had a regular neighborhood park. And everything in town sort of would happen in that park, and that's where everybody goes, right? So it's a little different. Okay. Any other observations that you made about the people, buildings, the activity, anything like that? Good morning, Arshad. Okay. Let me set up the rest of what we're going to do here today. Arshad, what do you think radishes would have to do with Christmas in Mexico? That's the question. That's what we're trying to figure out. Okay, so what we're getting ready to see here, you guys, is only happens in Oaxaca, Mexico. It doesn't happen all over Mexico, right? Just in Oaxaca, Mexico. And so that makes it a pretty like unique thing, right? Okay, what I need for everybody to do is I need for y'all to meet me in Canvas real quick. And if you go scroll down to the bottom of your modules, like to the bottom of your Canvas page, all the way down to the bottom, you'll see a module called La Noche de Rábanos. I do need to say this, though, we're having some pretty strange windy weather. If we get disconnected, just sit still and I'll try to reconnect. And if I can't, I'll leave you a message in Canvas announcements. Okay, you guys? So just know that I am having a strange weather here today. Okay, give me a thumbs up when you have found this module. All right, Jamarian, Arshad, you ready? So this is going to be 10 points today, right? You have an opportunity today to earn 10 freebie points for third quarter, right? So you're going to start out third quarter with some easy free points today. So the first thing that I want you to do, por favor, is click on this KWL chart and open it up. Let me know if you have any troubles. And in our first column, of course, use your text box. What I already know about the night of radishes, La Noche de Rábanos. You want to know, like maybe some of, and then you're going to keep this loaded. You're going to keep this up, tab open, so that as we go through some things, you can jot down some ideas about what you learned about them, and then you're going to just submit it. Okay, so 5 easy points, all in English, no problem. Okay, so it is about 10 till. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to fill in the first 2 charts, what you already know, and if it's nothing, well, you do know something. You know that it's in Oaxaca, Mexico, right? And you know that it's on December 23rd. And then what do you want to know? So just jot down brainstorm some ideas here. What are you curious about? So I'll give you a few minutes. Again, you guys, this is just easy points for us to start third quarter with, and kind of a fun way to celebrate something to do with Christmas, right? But in a different way for us. It's up here. Can you see my background, Brooklyn? It's up above this radish figure with an X, Oaxaca, Oaxaca. So what do you want to know? Like, what are you curious about in the middle column? Okay, another 30 seconds or so, maybe finish up your thinking. Okay, you guys ready to get started? All right, so you might want to leave this tab open, like I said, and as we go through some things, you can just jot some stuff down. And if I go too fast and you need the information again, you know, that's no problem. Just speak up. Okay. All right. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. All right, you guys, here we go. So Night of Radishes, La Noche de Rábanos. And I'm not going to dwell on all these, and I'm not asking you to take notes, right? Just things that jump out at you, okay? Things that you think are important. So Mexico is famous for its colorful festivals. We saw some things for Dia de los Muertos, right? All the big parades and stuff like that. Night of Radishes is just one of them, right? Noche de Rábanos. And you can see, I want you guys to take note real quick. The size, everything is red here. I need a different color, right? The size of these radishes. So this is a man, full-grown man, sitting there next to these figures. Okay, and so if you look at the one in his hand, even, okay, those are certainly not like the radishes that we see when we go to the grocery store. Okay, the ones we see at the grocery store look like little Christmas ornaments, right? Okay, so these are definitely a different thing, right? Okay, the city of Oaxaca is the capital of the state of Oaxaca, and you can see that it runs along the Pacific Ocean, right? So they get a lot of tourists. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of expats, people who live and move to Mexico tend to go there. Okay. Okay. So this, you guys, you should recognize, right? Brooklyn, Joe. This was in our video. This is the Zócalo, which is the central plaza, and it is the location of where the event takes. Okay. So Jojo, can you figure out like where we are here? Like do you remember seeing this in the video in the walking tour, Joe? A little bit. Okay. So this is that elevated area here. We came around, the man that was walking came around and we kind of did a circle behind it and came back up front. Okay. All right. So what is it? Now here's what you can add in your third column. It's a contest that happens every December 23rd. And this contest goes back more than 100 years. And what you're seeing here is basically a poster, you know, promoting the contest. Okay. And you can see a figure there of like looks like a giant carved radish with different people, et cetera, right? So it's a contest. All right, so what kind of contest is it? So let's take a look at these images, okay? Joe, you paying attention? Because I can't see your head today, Jojo. All right. Participants create figures and scenes by carving and arranging these giant radishes, okay? And so I don't know if you can see this, but this is like an oxen attached to a cart. Like here's a cart wheel, a wheel of a cart, and this can be the cart. And it's like a farm, right? And notice, you guys, that everything in the figure is a natural item, right? There's no plastic, there's no, you know, it all has to be natural, right? So here's how the contest started. Again, this would be for your notes, right? For your thing. In the past, farmers wanted to get the attention of shoppers to sell more produce. So they began to make radish carvings to attract attention during the market. So think about what we saw in our walking tour in the main Zocalo there in Oaxaca. And we saw all of those people like had their stuff set up, right? For people to come by and, you know, like booths or whatever, for people to come by and buy their stuff, right? Well, if you got to figure 120 plus years ago, right, who would go to the Zocalo? It was going to be the farmers and stuff, right? Wanting to sell their what they had grown. Well, if everybody is selling the same thing, you want to make sure that you can attract the business, right? And so somebody had this great idea of like cutting the boredom, I guess, and using these giant radishes and started like carving artworks, got people's attention. People would come over and buy the, you know, the vegetables or the fruits or whatever from their cart. And then other people were like, well, heck, I'm going to try and do the same thing, right? And so it got to be so popular, it brought more people to the market just to see the contests, right? The carvings that these farmers were making to attract attention. Okay. Until finally, you guys, it became a formal sort of contest in 1897. Okay. So this contest has been around since 1897. So if you're going to be a part of this contest, and again, you guys can see how giant these radishes are, participants have only one day to put their displays together, okay? And they have to do it all on December 23rd. Now, why do you think they have only one day to do it? Remember, it has to be all natural stuff. So why do you think they only have one day to do it? What do you think, Jojo? Why do you think they only have this one day? What do you think, Brooke? Well, if you start carving up a vegetable Is it going to last very long? Or is it going to start getting brown and yuck and nasty looking, right? Isn't that right? So because of the fact that everything has to be natural, they're only going to have that one day to like put it all together, right? Okay. So again, it wasn't meant to be like a Christmas thing or a religious thing, but because it happens a couple of days before Christmas, the themes of the carvings do tend to be religious, right? So can you all make out what this picture is of or what this carving is of? Okay. There is an angel, but what's the whole picture of? Can y'all make it out? Brooklyn, what happens if you hover over your Zoom thing at the bottom of your screen? Does it open the Zoom so you can see it bigger? Like if you just hover, put your mouse or something over the Zoom icon along the bottom of your screen. Does it work? Oh, okay. Arshad, what is this image of? Well, there's an angel and a baby, right? And a couple of people and some animals. So what do you think this is an image of for Christmas? Got a guess? Not Willy Wonka. Yeah. Well, it's not a llama. It's supposed to be a mule, donkey, right? So it's supposed to be the nativity, the birth of Jesus, right? You know what I'm talking about, you guys? Yeah. I mean, that's what you're supposed to celebrate for Christmas. You see all those nativity scenes or whatever. And so that's what this is. But my point, you guys, is look at the detail. Can y'all see the detail here in the carvings, like the angel wings and the outfits, right? So, and there's another angel up here and a shooting star, right? Okay. Another popular theme is the Virgin Mary, who is Jesus's mother, right? Remember, this is all in the Christian Catholic tradition, right? Look at the detail here. Can y'all make this out? That's the thing that really is impressive to me, whatever the figure might be. It's the detail. Look at the fanciness down here of the outfit, right? And her facial expression and this crown, right? And then this garland in the back is all radishes too. So in my opinion, these people are artists, right? I mean, I don't know how you all feel about it, but I feel like they're artists because I can't even draw that, let alone carve it in a radish, right? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Okay. Contestants participate in various categories. Traditional is the largest category. And these include scenes from the Bible and things that show culture from Oaxaca. So again, if you can see this screen, you see flowers, you see dancers, you see men with sombreros on, traditional Mexican dresses when they dance. So this is, again, just showing culture in their area, right? Dancers. Okay. This one is of an actual market selling food, right? You see some tacos down here in the foreground. Can you guys make out those are tacos? Yeah. Okay. This one shows farmers and agricultural workers, right? This is supposed to be like the field. Okay, this one is amazing to me. So this scene depicts Native American traditions in southern Mexico. But so they're supposed to be like Aztec or Maya. I forget who used to live in the area. But to me, once again, you guys, it is about the detail. You can tell that these are like warriors with their armor on, et cetera, et cetera. And the little details all put together, right? And again, this is a contest. So, you know, the more elaborate, I suppose, the better chances you are of winning, right? This one shows the church, the big church that's in the Zocalo in Oaxaca. And you can see like the people that are coming and going to church, or there's this man with the drum. So it must be like maybe for Christmas time or something like that, right? And the church in the background. So again, a lot of detail. To me, this is almost like a whole village, people doing different things in their village. You know, some people are selling this, some people are making that, right? Some lady here walking around with tortillas or whatever, right? So this is like a village scene. And this one kind of fascinates me because it's native, it's indigenous. You can see women with like cups and bowls. And so maybe they're like going to the well for water. And here's the well. You guys, I want you to, if you can, make your screen large because I want you to see this well. Okay. So it's a traditional thing. Women would go to the well, right, to get their water in rural villages, right? And here's the well, all made out of radishes. The little bucket here, I don't know if y'all can see that. The little bucket is also made out of a radish. Okay. The wheel to turn to get the bucket up and down is made out of a stem of radish. But here's the thing. You see this right here? You guys, it's worth looking at. Can y'all see this right here? It is the rope. It is the rope that's attached to the bucket in the well. And that rope is just a carved radish. Now, to me, that's amazing. That well, to me, is probably the most fascinating thing of all right here. Okay. Now, it may be just me, right? But I just find that fascinating. Made to look like bricks. Okay, then there's a free category, which is exactly what they're saying. You can put anything you want in. So this is obviously a what, you guys? What's it meant to be? Come on, Arshad. I need you to wake up. It's class. A whale. And what's the broccoli supposed to be? Yeah, the blowhole, right? So that's pretty clever. Okay. Some of the carvings maybe have a social or a political theme. Some of them are kind of hard to interpret, right? And my pictures aren't loading, right? But this scene is Dia de los Muertos, right? So you have the Katrina dolls, you have the musicians with the the skull musicians, you have the cemetery, right? So this one's celebrating Dia de los Muertos. There's also a category for children ages 6 through 12. And again, the picture's not loading. I apologize. And that's the way that you keep your traditions going, right? If the kids learn how to do it, right? See if I can get that picture to load. Come on. Okay. All right. So it's become very popular, attracts people. So in 2018, they estimated that more than 20,000 people came to see this radish artwork. Okay, 20,000 people. Okay, there's another contest that runs alongside this where people can create displays made of a straw flower. So it's a dry flower. Once again, you guys, this is like crazy detail with these straw flowers. You can see this in this one. This is a girl in a dress, right? And she's making a dress. Yeah, right, Brooklyn? She's making a dress. And you can see like these women sitting down here are like this one on the left is a weaver. She's weaving, right? She's sitting at an old-fashioned loom making the material, right? And you can kind of see those materials. So this is pretty impressive. Okay, again, all with dried flowers. There's also another contest for totomostle, which is the Aztec word for the husks of corn. So, you know, when you have a whole corn on a cob and you have to take the husk off before you can get to the corn, y'all know what I'm talking about, I'm assuming. Yeah. They dry those corn husks and then they make figurines out of them. And these as well have to be of all natural stuff. And they're very, very intricate and detail oriented. So this is like the village in front of the church, and you have people selling flowers and people selling fruit, and you have a guy with the trumpet over here, you know what I mean, right? It's kind of a parade in front of the church, all made out of corn, dried corn husks that have been folded. Okay, here's another one. That's the church, again, all made out of corn husks, right? Even these flowers that you see over here are made out of corn husks, right? In New Mexico, in the United States, it is not uncommon if you go to like a shopping district, there will be a store that to this day still sells flowers made out of corn husks. And they're beautiful. They make big giant flowers, right, for home decoration, right? Okay, any questions about what you just looked at? Radishes, corn husks, straw flowers, anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a minute. Jot down some ideas for what you learned in that last column. Okay, but don't submit it just yet because I have one other thing for us. Okay, so don't submit it just yet. I'll just give you a minute while I try to get my next thing pulled up here. Okay. All right. Did you guys jot down what you wanted for that last column about what you learned? Okay, leave it open, like I said, because we're going to do a real quick ed puzzle. And this one's from a totally different perspective. Because I want you to now see the actual contest. Okay, so if you want to jot down any other ideas, you can do that. Okay, and then you can submit it. All right. I'll probably skip some of these questions, so kind of stay tuned. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. You got your sound on, you can hear, you can see. Arshad, you ready? All right, here we go.
All these people are not just chilling, they are waiting in line to see carved radishes.
Okay, can y'all hear that okay? Yes.
We are in the city of Oaxaca, in the state of Oaxaca, in Mexico, to see the world's biggest radish carving competition, along with...
Okay, we know this, so we're gonna skip it.
Along with several thousand other people. This is Noche de los Rábanos, and I am so excited to show you this strange festival in Mexico. Let's go.
Gracias, viejo.
Okay, before getting back to the good stuff, which is the radishes, I want to tell you a bit about how this festival started, because it is a little bit crazy. In 1897, it officially launched, but for a long time before that, people were carving radishes here in the square. There's a very famous Christmas market that happens on the 23rd of December every year in the Zocalo in Oaxaca City. Farmers were carving vegetables to put on their stands to attract more customers, and they got a little competitive. And so the government here, the president, made official competition in 1897. That means it's been 120 years of official radish carving here in Oaxaca City. But first,
Okay, so did we catch how this radish carving competition got its start? What did we talk about? Just a couple of ideas. Joe, do you remember how the competition got started? Okay. Well, it was also in our slides. Do you guys remember? Remember, I was explaining how people wanted to make sure that their produce was sold in the market. And so they started carving these things, and then the governor made it an official competition in 1897, right?
first, a surprise. What? It is the afternoon before the big day, so today is December 22nd, and I'm walking down this small little alleyway in Oaxaca City, dodging piñatas to meet a guy named Juan Manuel. Juan has won this thing almost 20 times before retiring in the mid-1990s. This year he's a judge, so he'll be judging which one of these carvings is the best and is going to win the prize. He's also back there carving his own piece that he's not competing with, he's showcasing it this year in the event. We're going to ask him some questions about competition, strategy, what it's all about. But first I want you to realize how famous this guy is. His face is on the poster.
Okay, so this man in the middle is the man we're getting ready to meet, Juan Manuel, and he has won this competition 18 years in a row, but 20 times altogether, okay? And this year he's a judge, right? So he's the big dude, right?
Big shot, and super excited. He's going to give us some time today on a very busy day for him to ask some questions about the event. Marinelle's already in there. Let's go check it out. Juan Manuel, our artist today, is not just versed in the ways of radishes, he actually sculpts silver. And some of his pieces are like great masters of popular art in Oaxaca. And here's our man, Juan Manuel, with his incredible silver work here. And
okay, I'm gonna
there's the original model. Entonces,
okay, so this man is a silversmith, right? He makes he's an artist, right? He makes figurines and things from silver. And he just kind of got into this radish thing for fun. But check out this
his incredible silver
stuff
work
that he makes
here.
out of silver.
And there's the original model. Entonces, Juan Manuel, ¿cuál es más difícil? ¿Hacer cosas con plata o con rábanos?
Las dos cosas.
Las dos cosas tienen su dificultad.
Okay, so he says he was asked which is harder, carving silver or carving radishes. And what did he say? Did y'all catch it? Which one was harder? Yeah, he said both of them. They're equally hard.
Esas cosas tienen su dificultad.
Sí.
Really? ¿Cuál es una de las cosas más difíciles de escultar los rábanos?
Digamos, armar la figura, porque, digamos, hay que buscar, de los rábanos, lo que más se adapte a la figura que va uno a hacer. Eso es lo más difícil. O también el tema que vaya uno a representar.
No está concursando.
No.
Sí, sí, sí. So he's saying that he's going to decorate the warrior with maybe some carrots, and behind the warrior he's going to put like that crown decorated with onions, little onions, just to be like the attractive part behind of this warrior. And it's going to work in this warrior for the whole day.
So he was also saying that he's not competing this year. He's showcasing himself, right? Is that what he said? So he's won 18 years in a row. And I think if you're a basketball player or a golfer or a radish sculptor, if you win 18 years in a row, I don't think you need to compete anymore. So this year he's just doing a feature piece for the festival.
Okay, we're gonna skip. Okay, so he's working on his piece. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but what he said, the hardest part about it was putting it together, right? Making it fit together and finding the right radish to work in the piece that you're trying to make, right? So like if you're trying to make an elephant, you want something that looks like an elephant, right? A trunk or something like that, okay? Okay, so please watch, please listen, because this is really interesting.
What is that, Michael? What is that, Mike?
This is our entry into the competition tomorrow. I'm gonna see what Juan Manuel thinks, but I'm expecting like an easy third.
It's
Maybe
like a
not
little-
first, but at least third place.
Okay, let me see it. What is his name?
Roy Raúl El Rábano.
Roy Raúl el Rábano.
Roy Raúl El Rábano.
El Rábano.
Vamos a conseguir un premio. Ese rábano.
Un poquito de suerte a lo mejor sí, ¿no?
You need a lot of luck.
Here's the entrance. Here's the line. It goes on forever. So like Juan Manuel was telling us, there's multiple categories here that you can compete in. There's the radishes, which is what draws the most visitors. There's also a corn husk creation
Okay, check these out, you
category,
guys. These are
where they
mean.
take the husks of corn. When you peel the leaves off of the corn cobs, they use that to make all kinds of things. And some of them are actually incredibly detailed. Wow, this one here is insane. All made of corn husks. Look at the detail. And here we are. The first of the radish sculptures is a nativity scene, which is one of the more traditional ways to build the exhibits that people put on display. You gotta see the detail, and you gotta see the creativity that goes into making these things. It's really wild. One here is of the Here is of the cathedral in Oaxaca. It's a giant crucifixion. Wow. And you can see they found a radish that already has a shape like a beak, because that's all pretty much natural. Here there's an elephant, so they had to find some pieces that look like an elephant trunk, elephant tail, and you kind of put them all together like some kind of giant Frankenstein radish monster until it looks like something like an animal. So originally it was mostly all nativity scenes, but since then it has evolved a lot, and you can see all kinds of different things in the exhibitions. I've seen Mexican luchadors, I've seen mezcal stands, I've seen cherry blossoms, I've seen so many different things. The festival has definitely evolved from the traditional way of doing things, which is just baby Jesus, Mother Mary, Joseph, that whole scene, and become something that you can see a lot of pop culture references in.
Bob Ross.
So one thing I've noticed a lot of is, besides the amount of work that goes into carving the radishes, the amount of work to stand here and consistently be spraying the radishes for how many hours today? 10, maybe? The radishes don't do very well in the bright sunlight. It's maybe 25 degrees here in Oaxaca City, that's Celsius, on December 23rd. And in that heat, the radishes dry, they crack, they look all crusty, and I just passed the judge. You met the judge, and he doesn't want to see that kind of stuff. If you want your radishes to look the best, you got to keep them moist, and that's why at every stand there's someone misting them, soaking them, keeping them fresh. The red stays redder, the white stays whiter, and they don't look crusty. Because if your radishes look crusty, you're probably not going to win first place. And this is the piece of the judge we met yesterday, Juan Manuel, sitting here in the sun. It is now finished. Before, he didn't have the carrots on his chest. His sword was just being finished. He didn't have the cape on his back or the spot over his private parts, but it's finished now. We are now enjoying the noche part of Noche de los Rábanos. We saw most of the radishes this afternoon, and now we're back at night to see the party, and so is most.
Okay, so after the contest, you guys, then they have, you know, the evening in the Zocalo there in the square. They have music and food stands and food trucks and, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. Okay. All right. Any thoughts? Feel free to pop them in the chat or unmute, add them to your KWL. Go ahead and submit your KWL chart. Take as long as you need to finish it. And then in the module is that discussion question for another 5 freebie points. And so that's kind of our exit ticket out of here today, but we're a little early. So just take your time. All right, Jamarian, finish that up. Yay. And then you guys can finish up that discussion question.
I'm Miss Martinez, and today we're heading to
Okay, Arshad, don't forget to do that discussion question real quick. Arshad, you get it finished? If it's also, Joe Marion, I don't know if you can hear me. If it's not just about a local tradition where you live, but maybe a family tradition too, right? Local or family, whichever you prefer to include is fine. Okay, so do you guys have big plans for Christmas? How do you guys usually celebrate Christmas? Yay. Yeah, you get to be with your cousins. Isn't that right, Brooklyn? See? What's the one food item that you guys always have? Like that's a must for Christmas. Is there one food item? Oh, sounds good. Sounds good to me. Okay, we have a couple of minutes left, you guys. Feliz Navidad, right? Feliz Navidad. Make sure you get that done. Make sure you get it turned in. That'll be an easy way. You'll start out with on third quarter, you guys, with yeah, or it can be a family tradition too, right? So get that popped in there, you guys. It'll be an easy 10 points altogether. Get to start third quarter with some free points, right, you guys? Joe Marion, are you traveling for Christmas break, or are you able to stay home? Staying home. Okay, that's cool. So you have people coming to your house? Oh, okay. Okay, Jamarian, did you get those both of those things done and submitted? Not yet. Okay. All right, you guys, enjoy your break. Stay safe. Okay. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys third quarter. All righty. Adios. Oh, make sure you check out the bulletin board in Canvas for the class schedule is going to be different on the first day back, right, you guys? So don't forget to check that. Okay. All right. Adios.